We are trying to collect oral stories to understand the memory of ordinary people. It's our attempt to understand Soviet past and Soviet legacy. My name is Tigran Amiryan. I'm a professor of contemporary literature and I'm a head and founder of CSN Lab, Cultural and Social Narratives Laboratory. We're seeing many traumatic examples how the Soviet regime erased different parts of urban spaces, different parts of memory sites in the cities. But in post-Soviet time now, we're seeing a lot of examples of new colonization. And if we don't have some connection with this place, so it means we don't have an identity of this place. The identity of Armenians, the most important part of identity and the memory is the trauma, is the big trauma with the genocide of Armenians in Ottoman Empire, conflict issues between Armenia and Azerbaijan. It's very traumatic memory and traumatic identity. But also there are different parts of our community, big diaspora of Armenians, which is very different. We have a biggest diaspora in Russia, big diaspora in France, in USA, in other European countries, and local Armenians in Armenia, people from the post-Soviet country. And it seems we have one or two languages like Western and Eastern Armenian, but there are different languages, different cultural languages, and different understanding of the democracy, different understanding of the situation, and different understanding of the role and the impact of Soviet past. The situation changed after the start of the war in Ukraine, and it's very sensitive for Armenian community also because of big flow of Russian migrants. When the war in Ukraine started, many people from Russia moved to South Caucasus countries, and now in Yerevan we have a big population of Russians, and it's very sensitive for all of us when they used only Russian language in public spaces for their cultural events.
We want to start a second stage to continue this project and to make it more sustainable. Our local experts and they try to give deep knowledge about colonialism and different aspects of our lives, such as language, culture, architecture, urbanism.
And sometimes it's not. There are no solution, no just one picture of the past as well. And the main direction for our organization is the memory studies and memory activism in Armenia, but not only in Armenia, in the region, in South Caucasus region. Today, very important things you can find only in the oral stories and the local memories. And we are trying to collect oral stories to understand the memory of ordinary people. It's our attempt to understand Soviet past and Soviet legacy. But Soviet legacy not through the study of some, the biography of famous people or the impact of some buildings important for the Soviet time or Soviet culture. Sometimes the state language or media language full of hateful things or full of the conflicts, but not the language of memory, because in the memory of the ordinary people and the local communities, you can find a lot of examples of peaceful coexistence of different ethnic groups. But the main problem in our region is the conflicts between these ethnic groups, and that's very important to do this work with the memory to find some solution to transform the conflicts in our region. It's very clear for us there are big conflict between two different urban environments, new and old, and sometimes new decisions of our governments. It's against the preservation of the memory of our city. And I say like memory is the important part of identity. So city without the memory, it's mean city without the identity and without the connection and contact of local people with the space. One of our very popular and successful books, it was a Firdus, the memory of a place, about Firdus district, vernacular district in the center of Yerevan. Another project about vernacular districts, it was our participation in the Kond festival, because Kond is oldest, it's very old district, vernacular district in the center of Yerevan, and we collected the oral stories. Unfortunately, it's the last part of this typical Yerevan because of new colonization by new big buildings and new construction in the center. And unfortunately, there are some solution between these two forms of the architecture and the urban area and the urban environment. And it's a big problem in our country because there are no dialogue. That's why we are doing this work.
Especially when you are talking with younger generation about peaceful coexistence, they don't even imagine that it is possible to have this good experience of peaceful coexistence of different ethnicities. And that is why for us to keep this kind of urban environments, because this is the material evidence of our great experience of peaceful coexistence.
We, as a cultural organization, we are trying to do the research, the activism, to do some cultural project, also for the creation of new language, to give this language to the activists, because the activists, they are trying to fight against this Dubaization of the city. And it's very important to create some new methods and methodology for their work also, and to propose local authorities and city authorities to have some new laws or regulations to preserve all the districts. And you can just destroy this part to preserve this part. Yeah, everything is in connection. And it's really a network of memories of the common collective identity and memory of these people. It's very different things, memory and history. And sometimes if you don't have your own experience of your family, of your relatives, you don't have a memory. So it's just some state narratives works. And we know very well, like state narratives, sometimes it's not representative for our life and for the reality. Because in reality, in the memory of our community, we don't have a conflict with our neighbors. But with political language, media language, and with state narratives, all our countries in the region in the conflict. So the preservation of the peace, the developing of the peace and democracy, it's possible only through the memory of ordinary people. And more postcards from our Turkish Armenian program here from Balad. And the more popular, it's the popular thing from our post-colonial
yes, of course.
post-colonial
That's
exhibition.
very close to my heart, to my memories.
Yeah. And for me, it's very clear that yes, I'm doing the things in cultural field to protect democracy as well. Yeah. because I don't want to be in the country or in the some environment where the dictatorship regime